There. Now you can hear me. All right, guys. We always have technical difficulties, don't we? Don't we? It's Ben here from Second Dynasty. With me on the line, I have, of course, Zoromer. Say hello, Zoromer.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And I also have John from John Games.
Hello, John Games.
And then in our background, over my shoulder here, we have Albin, who may mutter to himself or do some comments. He's working on one of the ships. I'm working on the other ones. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I make 3D printable spaceships. So this in particular session is all about the Traveler Type S Scout, which we've officially licensed from Far Future Enterprises. So it's an official, or going to be an official, 3D printable traveler ship that will feature in a Kickstarter probably sometime during the summer. So we're looking at the development we've done in the last week. Zoromer, of course, is our resident 3D printing expert and light guru. And John from John Games is our programming guru, who's actually going to update us on DeckDesigner, a piece of software we're developing with John to make planning the deck plans of ships much easier. Now, while the traveler ships, especially the Scout Type S that we're going to mostly be looking at today, is not going to be as customizable as the other ships I've done. These are at 28mm, by the way, and they usually use open lock clips to connect together. The traveler ships will be no different in that respect, but they will require a few more custom parts. We'll be looking at that shortly. A bit of light kit news. We will actually be discontinuing the light kits off of the late pledge manager for the Sleipnir, our last ship. It's over my shoulder there, the kind of expand style one. We just have a bit of a nightmare arranging the orders. We can't do things as quickly as we'd like to. So we'll be moving that over so that we have the main link on seconddynasty.com, so you'll go there instead, and hopefully the whole process will just be a little bit smoother. That will actually link to Evan Designs, which is our distributor. So we're hoping to cut out the middleman of MMF because their system just wasn't made to support physical products. They may have the support in the future, but at the moment they don't. And logistically for us, this is going to make more sense. Just to let people know. So if you haven't already sorted out your light kits and you put an order on one of your past Kickstarters, we'll still, of course, figure that out. It'll just be a case of it's a manual sort of thing. And I mean, we served our first light kits in, what was it, November? So it's been a good 3 months already. So hopefully the bulk of the orders are already done. So it'll just be a few edge cases. Did I get that right, Zoromer?
And it will get processed, but we're no longer taking new orders through the MyMiniFactory because of the headaches it was creating. That's pretty much the short of it.
Yes. So that will come into effect probably on Monday. Yeah, that's where we're at that. So it's not like you won't be able to get light kits. It's just we just need to change things around a little bit. And this ship we're actually going to be looking at is going to have a light kit. But before we delve into that, I thought, John, why don't we just give people a little bit of an update about DeckDesigner? Can you briefly give us an overview of what it is? And then I hear you've got an update coming this weekend.
Yes, I do. Thank you. First of all, what was I going to say? Yes, DeckDesigner is going to be a tool to assist you in building of the steps to create ships. It will allow you to see step by step how to do something and snap things together and preview how those parts work or create new ships from it. It is not 3D modeling software. It's not there to modify parts. It's not there to join parts together or be sent to your 3D printer. It's a planning tool. One of the things that's been people may be wondering about, it's been 3 weeks since we've last done an update, and there have been two update messages sent across the itch.io Second Dynasty one to keep people in the up to pace. Oh, good. Sorry, I saw Crypto Jones talking, and I have to read what he says. He's very valuable. Then the main thing is, though, why it's been 3 weeks? I want to address that question. The first week was there were 3 systems that were so inexplicably tied together that it was starting to cause me an issue, and that was the bundle browser, the select tool, and the brush, or the placing tool. And those 3, I recognized the need to start splitting them. And the first week, I realized it's going to take way longer. And I believe I sent to you in that first week directly to Ben and to the Second Dynasty Discord and the DeckDesigner Discord there would not be an update that week. The second week, it just was some sadness, and there was some things and all that. And Ben just gave me pretty much a 2-day, 3-day off. Was it? I think it was 2 days off, and that caused submissional delays. And I was very thankful for Ben for that. Kind and merciful Ben. And I did send an update out to explain that to people, only through the itch.io channel, which some people don't do, because some people only watch the videos, some people only look at the Kickstarter updates. So keeping everyone informed is important. This is the 3rd week, and I will be releasing only a partial update to, they have been successfully split, and they're now being worked on there's the bundle browser, and that's the one that lets you look through all the different parts you have that the program currently is set up, your custom parts, the Sleipnir parts, another bundle that will come out whenever we start on that. But those, it's being finished up. It no longer will be stuck there on the right side of your screen, just taking up space all the time when you may not even need it. It's now contextual and can be swapped up with a different one if I wanted to later. And this allows it to be a lot more flexible for us. So it would give you more screen to state. It's going to be a little easier for me in the back end. And this new one will allow you to know where you're at a lot faster and do even less scrolling, because there'll be a folder view and then a main view inside the folder.
So to summarize, essentially we've fine-tuned under the hood, right? Things that are many of the things that are going on at the moment are all about the end product being polished and more user-friendly than the prototype that we've come up with. So you're going to see things moving more towards the end as far as content is concerned. How has this impacted our timetable? When can we expect the more full-fledged beta? Or I don't know if you'd bravely say that 1.0 was coming, but previously I think we had listed that for the end of March.
So while I wouldn't say March will be the release of the full-fledged one at this time due to these additional challenges, I do believe at the end of March we'll have a very workable product that will maybe be late beta, be very usable, at this point, the crash reports, thanks to our beta users, have allowed me to get analytics data from them. They have provided the crash reports have dropped tremendously. I'd like to share that in about the 2 versions before the one that's currently released, we experienced about 6,000 exceptions, not crashes, exceptions.
Right.
And the latest one, and that was across 1 week. And this latest version across 3 weeks with similar amount of use cases, we saw about 50 exceptions.
Oh,
so we're seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of improvement in that area, and we don't want any of it. We want to do try catches. That we don't actually do try catch. We first want to write it to where there won't be an exception, and then if that fails, we do try catching. Yeah, that's bad code in Crypto Jones, you know it. So I would say at the end of March, it'll still be very usable.
Right.
There still could be that the tutorial mode is still on the table for that timeline. Getting tutorials for some of the ships even still within that timeline. Additional bundles still within that timeline. All that fun stuff. So I wouldn't say we're losing a lot. There are some things I really want to improve on in March. I love Crypto Jones. I'm sorry. The 60th time it works every time. Try catch it, blank catch. Yep, nothing can go wrong there. No cleanup code needed.
No, indeed. Well, it sounds like in any case you're sounding more like you got your head wrapped around the changes that need to be put in place. And sometimes, I'm the same way. You just need to take a step back, do something else for a while, and then you'll be doing something like reading a book or sitting on the throne, and it'll just come to you.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the summary. Is there any question that I didn't answer or concerns?
Not from my part, but by all means, guys, John's actually going to be with us the whole session, laying down a track of his quippy commentary on top of just me and Zoromer, and assumably Albin butting in when on occasion. So if you do have questions, please put them in the chat and we can get back to them. In the meantime, I think we can start talking about the Type S, and in a little bit I might check in with Albin after I've explained my woes for this week. He can explain his. Because, as always, these ships are the translation between the 2D plans and the 3D plans. They do require a little bit of wiggle room. So I actually had some great comments and feedbacks on the last film, because I do put the Twitch up on YouTube after our sessions, and it seems some of them have been actually, we're getting some people from the Traveller community in that are starting to leave feedback. One of the guys actually told me that if we look at the deck plans here, that whilst these straight lines represent the engines, that these other lines were like catwalk sort of pieces that you could see through to the deck below. So I started walking on that. However, I must unfortunately amend that fact, because I talked to Mark Miller himself and he said no, these are, it's engineering machinery, so you can't actually see through to the floor below.
Yeah, it is engineering machinery, not catwalk. What the hell?
Yes, but when there's many different editions of this, and perhaps there was a version that was the case. In any case, we've gotten an awesome new little like base out of things, because I actually went and created some tiles with OpenLock where you can actually print them like this and see through to the next level. I think people still would like that functionality, so I could just isolate this tile for a second. So it will print out with the OpenLock base, and you'll have this little section that you can actually see through. It's not perfect, but I kind of like it, and I have test printed that, and I've designed it all so that the heights are exact, at least for 0.15 millimeters. It should take advantage of the print layouts. I haven't seen it tested in like on an Ender 3 or anything like that, because I'm just prototyping. But we'll switch out these floors and actually replace them with machinery. So I haven't removed those yet. That was one part of the week, and in fact I can show it off, but I don't want to do that without actually isolating my prototype first. So basically the scout ship has been an issue from the beginning, trying to figure out how we would manage this, because the OpenLock tiles usually have a 1/4 inch walls, and here we would have much thinner walls due to partitions. So I was trying to figure out how can we do this. So I've actually stuck some little hooks in the back of the walls, and they actually will slot down on top of your floor. And as you can see here, I've actually added in some details, so you can see like some fuel tanks underneath the floors. The floors should snap in. This edition is actually for, I believe, in the sort of model airplane sort of hobby. I mean the kind that you actually fly. They have these copper tubing that you can add structural support with, and I was talking to Mika from Doc Who's, because we want to make the scout ship lift off. So we needed to structurally reinforce it. So we've added these sort of like this channel through that you should technically be able to feed through the pipe, and that'll help reinforce.
It will
the
always
bottom of the
be
ship.
straight.
I wouldn't say that. It's more a case of like it'll help keep it together.
I meant the supports will always be like, if it's a square copper tube, it'll always be a straight one. We don't have to bend anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I think they're actually hollow, and yeah, it should go the whole way through. Not the whole way through the ship, but yeah, we'll get back to that.
Sounds like a way to shove wires through it too.
Potentially, but then that would require drilling, so I don't know. Um, Possibly. I don't know if we need to feed anything from front to back. But yes, that is one potential use for it. In any case, I have spent several days coming up with this prototype with these sort of fuel tanks hidden behind the walls. I'm going to add some pumps and piping to it. I could have had a tank just filling this area. The reason I got tanks and not just left them blank, as they kind of are on the deck plans, is because I want some built-in support. So this will print out on its back. The walls are a separate piece, and I was at home yesterday, but on Wednesday night, let's switch this over because I have.
You're freaking him out. That's pretty cool.
Scene. Actually, no. Let's
all all dim all dimension fun aside, I am wondering about, when actually playing with this ship in a D&D campaign or Traveler, is it still going to be able to be disassembled enough to where you can get to each layer within reason? Or is it gonna be like, "Okay, we need to go to this room," and like, "Okay, 1 second," and going or can it be easily split into multi-levels onto one table? Okay. That's what I was asking about. So even though you have because you have a half levels and such, it will still work out to where you could have it all split. I appreciate the answers even though they're still being figured out. I thank you, because knowing that it's still gonna be usable for play is awesome. Thank you, Albin. Thank you, Toothpick. You're splitting up friends is rude. Oh, gross.
The work scene. I think we just lost the 3 people that were watching this. All right, guys. So yeah, that's the Beowulf. I should try and figure out in the future if we can somehow stream that screen instead. I guess we could possibly feed it through Discord or something like that. Since it seems a little impractical for me to hold the camera the whole time, especially since I have really unstable hands. Have we had any questions, guys, while we've been babbling?
No, except for some things about Mars and stuff, but yeah.
Oh, did that rover
Crypto Jones
land?
did mention he would pay money to see a Leonidas class warship.
Leonidas.
Leonidas, I don't know how to say these words.
That's a Spartan general, right? Spartan king. I don't know that
The
one.
name comes from it, but that ship's a larger cruiser. It's a mid size, so I don't think it's within the confines of what you would be doing. The largest size that we were talking about is 800 tons, and it would be a mercenary cruiser, and we only might do that later.
Indeed. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We're going to stick to the smaller player ships for the time being. So yeah, this is basically what I'm going to be working on today. Is I've taken this base section and we're working on the next section of the ship, and I'm just going to turn on the main deck plans again so you can kind of see the black walls are here, and we've actually got more space in these rooms than they did in these versions. Like for example here, we actually get the full bunk. I need to kind of plan these out usually based on where the piece is going to print. So for example, this has got a triple piece here, or when I say triple piece, what I mean is it's 3 inches. You can kind of see the hull in segments. And the next one, we're actually going to split it at the base. Now this isn't necessarily for strength, although, you know, even these pieces, I think it's still only something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 inches, right? That'll fit on most printing beds, especially at an angle. And we probably won't go too high with these. Like this, it'll be a 3-inch and a 3-inch piece or something like that. But I want to split it here because, like I've mentioned, this ship in particular, we want to have a takeoff sequence when we're doing the pitch video for the Kickstarter. So Mikke from Docus, who does our wonderful sets and lighting, along with Hannes, will probably actually build the set just outside our office. This time we have this space. We'd need to black out stuff, but we haven't had a high enough ceiling to be able to do cool sequences. So we just have a little bit more room out there. So we're hoping to do something with that. But I would really like to see the scout ship come up and be able to take off. And so this piece in particular, I think we will have... we could optionally have it used as a sort of stand. But primarily this is going to be where it'll connect to sort of like an arm or something that we can use to actually move the ship up and down to simulate the takeoff. So we'll probably film it from behind so we can see the engine light kits and the blue and red lights blinking on this one. So we would have like a pole connected here that we can then attach to some kind of mechanism to just slowly move in a certain direction. So hopefully something can be worked out from that. Although I'm hoping that's far enough behind because I feel like the center of mass is actually probably going to be around about here somewhere. We'll have to see. It's an experiment, but we'll probably like screw or glue these parts in just so that the prototype doesn't fall apart. But I think those rods should make a big difference. I think they'll probably go through multiple sections, so you'll be able to buy them and then just hacksaw them into pieces that are more manageable, that'll thread through several sections. So much like a real ship, we're dividing this up, and so I'm trying to fit this wall in here, and I'll just turn off the main deck plan. I don't know if I'll keep these patterns in. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the way to go is, because at least for some sections where we can't really get the depth, let's see, if we look at this, I don't know if you guys can see so well. I guess I could turn this into an X-ray instead. Let's see. Let's X-ray this, put the lighting back on, shading, and then we want X-ray. So a little hard to see, but if I select this open lock tile, what you will notice is that if we copy this one over and move it so that it's in a row, we should get just this tiny little bit of intersection outside of the hole. You can kind of see the lines going there. I know it's a bit hard to tell. So basically there gets to be a point where we need to have, we can't use the full bases. We need to integrate them into the tiles. And if you look at the piece that we did do, that's exactly what we've done. You can see the open lock tiles here. Let's get rid of the X-ray. And you saw that they snapped in just great in the prototype. So I'm quite happy with the way that's coming together. But obviously we do have some issues, like the front section. It's going to be lighter. Hopefully, you know, we might have to have some kind of longer open lock ports, but yeah, it's a challenge to say the least. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try and duplicate up this and get a 4-inch section here, because I think 4 inches is quite manageable on basically all printers. You might have some resin printers that will struggle with that, but if I'm being honest, I'm not designing these pieces for resin printers. I'm sure it'll look great if you do it on a resin printer, but you know, you'd have to add your own drainage and supports and all that.
I think it's appreciated because of how much more resin is and all that such. And the fact that most of the time most of the time you've targeted and told people you'll be using, is it called SLA or whatever it's called?
No, SLA is a resin printer. That's what I was saying. So FDM, which uses, I usually use PLA, which is probably the kind of plastic that we use that comes on the spools. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking we're doing today. And then, you know, what we're seeing here with these walls is not the final version. It's just a partitioning. So built into the partitioning, we would have, you know, a built-in bunk. So this prints out standing. It printed out great. There'll be a hole in the top. I don't remember if I said last week, but Mark has agreed that we would, like, these were the doors, and they, you know, we tried opening them to see what the issue would be. Tons of issues. Here instead, we're just going to have a door here that opens like so. He said go for it. You can have custom doors, and what we'll do is we'll have doors you can slot in. If you want these traditional designs, you can put them in. I know that one of our backers on our Discord actually did an iris door for Traveler already for one of our other ships, so the vertical kind. So Mark said, you know, it should fit in the hole when you've got enough room around here. What we'll do here with this is meant to be a refresher, so we'll just have a mirrored version of this, and it will slide like so behind that door instead. So either that, or we'll have more like an aeroplane toilet sort of style of door where you kind of, it's a folding door, not one that's functional, but you know, that'll be the design. So
refresher.
So toilet. So what are we doing with the iris hatch door? How are we doing that?
So basically, we're gonna have a vertical version, so it'll be like the Traveler doors that just look kind of like this in the frame. And then what I'll be doing is still providing a couple of different variants. So if you're not keen on that, the actual door frames for the vertical irises are not going to be circular. They're going to be, tall. That's what Mark has said. And he just says, yeah, it would be an awkward shape, but the way irises work, you could actually technically have them non-circular because they end up landing in the same place, the teeth. But then the up and down ones would be basically as we already have them.
Okay, cool.
And like I said, I'll probably just do a version of this door where it looks like this if you want to have it looking more like that, even though practically the doors have nowhere to go inside the walls. So we're going to try and... Yep.
I think your straight door is a better idea. I think that overlap door type thing, the one you have there that you have highlighted currently, isn't a great design anyway.
That one, yeah. No, I know you guys have got a slight delay on things. Yeah, I mean, I was just going off the Traveller art, and I'm trying to be respectful to the Traveller brand, and a lot of people have probably been imagining having one of these ships on their tabletop in this kind of detail for a long time. So again, we're not going to have these actual tiles in, but we'll provide them probably for because I don't know if we'll have it in this Kickstarter, but I imagine that one of them will end up doing sort of the modular ships instead, so that you can kind of build them out section by section, because that works better with the open lock system. We'll just have to see how that goes. But yes, right now, we've got this petition. It'll end there. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave these little ports. I have to figure out exactly where these are supposed to be. Because here we have it ending flat. You can kind of see that works well. But when we don't have an angle, I need to figure that out. So yeah, this will be like the first sort of room where this will just slot in from the side like so. Because these are in different sections, they're going to fit rather nicely together. And one thing that might not have been clear from the other, the printed design that I showed, is that it's supposed to have the refresher integrated. And then the actual bulkhead, at least in the scout ship, I'm going to make it so that this and this wall is actually integrated, and we have like an open lock clip here. So instead of just slotting into the sides, it'll be a single piece that slots into the middle of the cockpit, if that makes sense. And the cockpit will probably extend to about here. Then we'll have a single piece for the front of the ship. At least that's the way I'm sort of planning it for the time being. So all of these frames aren't necessarily... I've got them in the ship now as a practical part, but it's also about, the supports. So this all, like I said, it printed support free, perfectly fine. That's why that's intersecting there. So I can actually, if I delete that, we can reconstitute that from the model that we have here. That's essentially what we're going to do. So I'm going to start working. So if you guys feel like talking or commenting, please do so in the chat, or if Zoromer or John want to chime in, please do, so I can actually get some work done before we start.
I'm so sorry. I thought I was enjoying myself watching these look like storage units.
Storage.
I was imagining hiding away in them and putting my cans of beans in there.
That's oddly specific.
You know that all my adventures involve cans of beans and spaceships.
That doesn't sound good for the air recyclers, that's for sure.
Not my problem. You like your own smells.
What, do you though? Do you, John?
Sure.
Okay, a man with conviction. So I think we can actually go and get rid of this wall. And
so those little small holes are actually designed to where you can move it, put a wall in a different spot than it was placed in the original design, right?
Well, that's kind of the idea, to add back the modularity. But what I'm thinking is you could actually have like a wall section too that slots in theory. I don't know if I'm going to thicken these up or not, because printing these out.
It looks really thin.
That is really thin right now. Like, I don't know the exact dimensions, but let me just get my
I'm gonna guess 0.4.
I hope it's 0.6, but we'll see. Distance tool, point and point. It's basically 0.6. It's 0.58, so it needs to be 0.6 at least, I think. And I think that's why it came out so thin, actually, because I haven't had a proper rounded figure that matches up to. So it's probably printed 5 layers. Wait, no, less than 5. Oh, because, right, yeah. Talking vertically. Sorry, horizontally. It's a different matter. 0.8 would be better. Because then at least it's close to 2 layers, right? So.
Yeah.
That's brittle.
It's actually, you know what? It sounds brittle, but the physical print actually came out really nice. Like, there were no flaws in it.
What was the layer height?
0.15.
Oh, okay.
But the layer
I'm sorry.
height doesn't affect that so much. It's the actual. That was the big challenge with getting these to print nice, because I did about 3 prototypes. Like, I can actually show some of the earlier ones. So if you're interested in the process, I usually start out. Let's see, this was the very first one here.
Then if we're here, it's because we love the process. We love this kind of stuff. Mm. Ooh, yeah. I like that. That looks open enough to where when you add the paint, you'll still see the holes, which is cool. Refreshed. Refreshed. With juice. Raka! Triple Threat is here. I love to welcome people. It's my favorite thing. That's what I said. No, it's their name. You're rude. You're still on webcam.
Sorry, thank you, John.
No problem.
Not Raka, raccoon. It's like raccoon. Rax. Yeah. Anyway, yes. The grid was hard to find to figure out these angles, because the line art, if we look at the deck plan yet again, these lines for the interior, you see that it doesn't quite match up with what I've done. I was trying to find a nice compromise that would get us consistency from inch to inch. So I had to find a scale, and it's kind of off from what I prefer, because ideally, the whole inch scale is a bit of a frustration. Really, you need to have 254 parts to make millimeters into into inches, right, and divide it up, and that's essentially what it is. But then 254 doesn't divide super well by itself. I haven't done the math or anything on that, but so yeah, I divided the grid up into 30 to get this, so that the points, let's see if we can see them. The starting point and the end point of the joint would still be on the grid. So if we zoom in, you can kind of see that it's aligned here, there, and that's just to keep some consistency, so that all the angles are the same on the inside, because they're not on the outside of the ship. Like, if I were designing this for the sheer purposes of making it into something, I would have tried a number of different angles to test out, so that you could get the, like someone was asking on our Discord if we would be able to repeat things, so lengthen the ship, for example, extend it, but that's very hard to do when you need to have a very highly specific angle, which is why the Chimera is built the way it is, where its angles, based, they're actually on fractions that would fit into this grid. So yeah. Did I see the shuttle? You mean the transparent one? Going to magnetize it, huh? I did see the transparent shuttle, yes. I haven't been as active on Discord yesterday and this morning. I've been dog sitting this morning, so I've been working at odd hours, you might say. But you also kind of got to, just like John, you kind of got to take a break with this. Like Albin needed a break too from the Beowulf at a certain point to think through things, because it was just causing a headache. So this week we have had a couple of days where it's like, hitting 5 o'clock instead of 6, and we're just looking at each other going like, nah, today it's not happening. Whereas last week, we were finishing at like 7. So it all depends. In the long run, it'll even out. But creativity is just one of those things where you have a finite amount, and you've really got to take that into account.
I just want to mention, if it's okay with you, Ben, that Ben Mowbray, Second Dynasty, has a really good policy to keep that creative juice flowing. He's very considerate, very nice. Apply to Second Dynasty at seconddynasty.com.
Wow. You son of a bitch. Well, we'll see how a good traveler goes. Alright, so we've got these walls now. So I'm thinking like we can maybe have some wall decorations here, because these are always going to be awkward angles to decorate with, like open lock furniture or anything. So I think we would have a base with these wall slots on them. Now I'm probably going to give myself a headache here if I actually do have to go back and widen these, which I probably will. Actually, that could be a good exercise right now to get these. Let's see.
Could you do what's called offset style, where they only share, where that top wall is gone and that bottom wall is twice as thick, and then so each one's next wall is providing the wall to the previous one, like they're L's instead? That would make a much bigger connection point.
You could do that technically, but it's what I'm thinking, John, is because the deck plans are laid out in a certain fashion. Let's get them back again. What's that, Zoromer?
Jay Slattery is actually the question. He's asking whether Mark clarified the engineering components or if it was just grid covering, which we've already talked about in the show, but he missed that.
Yeah, you missed that. Mark said that we will be removing these because he said it's just machinery. So yeah, that came up in a Facebook thread. I don't know what the case was in times past, but Mark has said specifically that on this deck plan, that there is no intersection between the top and bottom deck. The bottom deck used to be apparently for the avionics or sensors or whatever you call them. Basically, I'm guessing it's computer space, because I know that early Traveler had those massive computers before they... I mean, it was pre-micro processor, right? Like pre-silicon computers.
Traveler uses huge mainframes instead of regular computers.
Yeah, so Mark was expecting that, just like antiquated computers before, personal computers took up huge amount of space, but yeah, it's not actually transparent. This is now a cargo area, and he's also said so modify the back so we've got some kind of cargo ramp. So basically, I'll just be adding a door here to the central section where we've got 2 inches of clearance, and then you'll have this. What I'm thinking is you'll just have this space here, where you can sort of slot things in. Bulkhead will start there as usual. There is actually. Let me just turn off the main floor deck. Oh, okay, these aren't assigned anymore. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes this is what happens. I thought it was a neat idea, and I wanted to test if it was possible. And hey, it was. That was cool. But yeah, we let's put this on the main deck for now, so they should disappear. We can see below
Then,
here.
then use that grading he's developed in other places in the ship. Though,
Yeah,
or
we'll
something.
still make it available, for sure. Because I would love to use that in other scenarios. I think it's really cool, and potentially we could just have the grading covering up, like for example, some parts of the ship here. I think it starts around about here. If we move this away, I think I've left like it goes down, so you could potentially have a crawl space or something. So you could just sit it on top, and it's like covering a hidden, compartment or something like that. Just as an idea, we'll see what happens. So yeah, the idea is this will be an iris, just not a standing iris probably, just an iris if you need to get into the cargo compartment from upstairs. It's possible. The other thing too is, at the moment, the only way into the ship, as far as I can tell, is through the airlock that's here, and that poses some issues for when you actually do land. So we do need some kind of retractable ladder or something like that. But even a ladder is not always practical. Say, for example, wait, I'm overthinking
A
this
rope
because
even works.
yeah, no, but I'm thinking Traveler. It's
There's a
Traveler.
side
They have
hatch-
grav
side
plates. Yeah.
There's a side hatch on the Scout.
The,
There's a back door and then there's a side door. I thought there were 2
no,
hatches
there's
out.
no. Well, there are versions of the Scout with side door, but the ones that Mark has shown do not have them. There are some versions where there's like an airlock in this section. This section where the refresher is. But there's not a ton of room there for a proper airlock, if we're being honest. I might do a variant that's a stretch goal that has one there. That's a possibility. But we're going to stick to the base ship for now. Planning out stretch goals is going to be more challenging with this. I think basically it'll be a case. Well, miniatures are going to be easy. Like I have gotten back the very first miniature design. I can maybe. Can I show this off? I've actually got one from Pickle, and I've gotten one from. So let's see if I can copy. Maybe I can open the link and then just move over a single window. Alright, so that's the one from of a Varga, although we're going to change the face so it's proper dog-like. You guys see that, right?
Dog-like to me.
But a specific breed, so it needs to be more German Shepherdy. I think we'll start out with.
Maybe slightly longer.
And then let's see if I can get Papsicles one. Just a more generic one, but open link. Yep, there we go. So, yes, that's the first one from Paps, which I think is looking pretty good. Most of them will be sort of more generic-y types, and then we'll have the iconics like the battle dress and whatnot. So yeah, that's where we are at with that. Let's turn off this grid again. It makes too much noise. So yeah, I'm thinking of leaving these so that you could potentially switch out just a section, or add in the wall if you wanted to. So from the deck plan again, we've got another stateroom in here. This stateroom is probably actually large enough to have its own refresher, because we do have our refreshers that are kind of built for Traveller anyway. So they
That's my room.
That's your room, is it? I mean, I assume that the crew actually sleep in one or more staterooms, but I believe there's only a crew of 3 for this ship.
Is there actual like? So this is a very comfortable ship. There's no like bunks and such.
No, these would. It literally says bunks there, John.
Oh, you know what? I can't read.
How are you a programmer?
I hope the letters work.
I see. It's like that.
That's pretty tight, really. Whole thing.
Yeah, it is quite claustrophobic. Well, mind you. What was that cool key again? I learned something new about. Let's turn this on. I didn't know about a feature that Albin actually taught me about. What is it? Alt X. So no, it's not working.
You have to hold your right mouse button, then you can walk, I think.
Oh, right mouse. Oh, okay. Wow, that is slow.
If you go to, I think it's like view or something like that, there should be settings. Or double click on the tool, perhaps it's faster.
The tool?
Yeah, it's like a tool right over there. So if you double click that one and you get the tool settings.
Oh, okay. Walk speed multiplier. There we go. Let's see. So if I do this, we should be able to like, let's see. We actually can get and walk through the ship as if we're on the ship itself.
Oh, it's like the fly tool, but walk mode.
Yes. So you can kind of see how claustrophobic it feels. That's 5 feet between that corridor, right?
So it looks fine.
It's fine in reality. That's like a 3 by 4 meter room. That's like my office at home. So it's not that bad. It's more comfortable than you'd think, and actually the refresher's a lot larger than you'd expect.
You should make a stretch goal replica of your office in the hallway.
I don't think people really want to spend cash on that.
Stretch goal.
So let's turn on the ceiling again. I forgot about this feature again already. Let's see, and let's put on the top hole so we can see out the window. Yes. All right. So now there is a window there that you can see out of. It's at the right height. So yeah, it's a bit dark in here, but you know. And then you would come down.
Zoromer, fix the lighting.
Yeah.
There is actually going to be some access panels here, so you can see the retracted landing gear. Let's retract the landing gear. So you'd be able to access that through a little room that's in some versions of the ship. I thought it would be really cool to add. So let's... Oh. And then you would go through here, and here's your cargo space. It's claustrophobic, but not that bad. That's actually a clearance of 1.5 meters or 5 feet. So you could almost stand up in the recessed areas, and then this is going to be much better. And I assume this is how, if your grav systems weren't working, that you would leave the ship through the hatch we're going to have there. So yeah.
This being built to a scale to allow a standard miniature to work in a 28mm miniature, yes, but it's using traveler rules, so it's 1.5 meters per square, according to the designs, deck plans, and so forth. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Ben?
So I mean, it's D&D, same size as D&D. 1.5 meters is 5 feet. So, yeah, 28mm in mind. If you guys want to upscale to get about 32mm, which is what some people work with, you would be looking at 3 centimeters or 30mm for an inch square instead, essentially. But of course, then this is going to go from 25 inches to 30 inches, which is what math. It's 30 inches is about 2.5 feet, so at about 80 centimeters, so an extra 10 centimeters or something like that. It's probably not too big for the scout ship itself, but yeah, like this is basically 28 millimeter is as big as you really want to probably go when you're dealing with these big ships. So
I like my pocket-sized ships.
well,
Let's
you
do
can
2
go down
millimeter.
as low as about 15 millimeters. I've seen people do. So you could almost halve the size of the ships. And 15 mil was a scale used in Traveller. So, I mean, you'd probably want to do that on an SLA printer to get the detail. But yeah, I thought that was kind of nifty. Oh shit, we're out of time. So I've done like
That's
no,
how you notice.
which means it's almost beer o'clock for me. So I guess I'll have to do this slightly inebriated. But you guys can see the progress. Hopefully, it is a little bit exciting to see that this is actually starting to take 3D form. I'm hoping we can. I could probably link the Twitch feed to Mark. It's probably the easiest thing to get him to have a look at and see where we're at and see if he's got any comments. But I think the tanks are a good solution to have the built-in support, and yeah, I mean, it might not be something for everyone, but I think it adds a bit of bulk to the ship. Makes it feel like less of a skeleton, and I think it'll look even better once we get some fuel pumps and things through there, and I'm sure we'll add a system in place so that you can get those fuel scoops going. Not sure if the default Scout already has the fuel scoops. Oh hey, Kuruli, jeez, that's not the most pronounceable of names, mate. But welcome. I know you're from the Discord, and I haven't seen you here for a while. So yes, I'm excited. We can summarize that, and I think Albin's excited too for the Beowulf. Are you excited for the Beowulf,
I'm
Albin?
excited. Woohoo! Beer! I'm Beowulf. Never mind. Yeah.
Beowulf. I like it. And on that note, let's round things off. Zoromer, John, is there anything you guys want to say before we sign off?
Goodbye, John Games.
Well, that was simple.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to switching over to the new lighting system as far as like how we're doing the sales and billing, and hopefully we'll be able to migrate people to that as much as possible. But there will be Traveler light kits available there, and we're going to start adding other light kits for the other models like the Scout and the Alpha Shuttle and all that. And some of that stuff should be starting to release pretty soon. So
yeah, the shuttle, we're just waiting on the lights to turn off, basically, so we can refine things. And
right,
yeah,
the mono engine is basically developed. We have some good ideas in place, but it's not ready for final release yet. We're doing testing still, so we're close to having that done. So that's going to be, for those of you who have the Slifner and wanted to use the mono engine and have a lighting kit, that will be available fairly soon.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I just banged the table. So there is stuff going on behind the scenes, and we're looking to refine the process so it's both easy for us and easy for you guys to get a hold of them. So I'm gonna bug MyMiniFactory again this afternoon, and hopefully we can get through the parts list, see if there's any new orders, and essentially we'll be just taking them off the store, and you guys will have to visit seconddynasty.com. Oh, speaking of stuff on seconddynasty.com, we actually got one new thing going. Oh. The ship miniatures for Starship 3 are finally on the store. So this is the missile version. Let me get this big again. Where do we go?
That's not cheating. That's reasonable. Oh, that is cheating. Okay. Oh, whoa, whoa, sound issue. Ben, your microphone is broken again. Yeah, they can't hear you. I don't
Nothing.
know.
Oh, how long ago was that?
3 minutes ago,
Oh,
4.
god damn it. Guys, I know Zoromer tried to say something. So I was saying the miniatures. Uh, yeah, they are now on the
I hear.
store, is what I'm saying, on MyMiniFactory. So the Starship 3 ones you can now get all the variants that we've made. There's about, I think, 25? No, that's too many. 18, maybe? Variants that are now available in the store in both tactical scales, so they have 1 inch hex bases. And we'll definitely be doing this with these two ships, even though I hate doing it because it takes a lot of time. But that's a part of the Traveler game, having tactical combat. The 270 versions are in the X-wing scale. Hopefully you saw what was going on. I really don't know how my microphone got turned off. That's really bizarre. In any case, we are now 10 minutes over. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. And thank Mark, of course, for trusting in us to do this project. When I stood up, it happened. Okay, so the whole miniature thing. Then how did John know I was cheating? You read my lips?
I can hear you through the Discord one.
What? This is so confusing. Okay, alright, yeah, I guess Discord's separate. Alright, guys, sorry about that technical difficulty at the end. I really need that beer, right? Have I deserved it? I don't know, but I'm having it anyway.
Yeah,
You deserve the biggest pack of beer they make, which is
Oh,
3,421 cans of beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just over the border.
Yeah, just go over and pick it up.
All right,
It's $6,000, I think.
John, I'm looking
Well,
forward to seeing the new update this weekend and the exciting things happening with DeckDesigner in the future. We'll do a more proper thing when we can demonstrate all of the packages and that. And I should note that we'll have DeckDesigner compatibility, of course, with the Traveler ship. So you'll be able to plan out your builds before you print them. Because, I mean, Scout ship, you're looking at probably 3 kilos of plastic. We're talking about, total print time probably 2 weeks. The other ship I'd say was closer to 4. We'll see what happens. And I'm just rambling now, so I'm gonna go. All right, guys, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Friday at the same time. And if you're not catching us live on Twitch, if you're catching us on YouTube, you can check us out at 3 p.m. on Fridays, Central European time. That's 9 a.m. East Coast US time. I live in Europe, so we kind of have to fit things into the work hours too. So, in any case,
Wait, let me put before you hang up.
yeah. What?
Okay, you can join us on our Discord.
Yes. Oh, you're getting the links in, right? Yes. I was like, what happened? Like all of a sudden, Zoromer's pausing longer than Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. So yeah, there's some Discord links there. One should be to the Second Dynasty Discord. That is for all stuff Second Dynasty. We have a Traveler channel in particular just for that. And the other one is Zoromer's support channel, where you can basically get help with all kinds of 3D printing issues. So you can find us there. And then, of course, the MyMiniFactory store as well. If you're looking for those miniatures, and you just go in to my profile, which is what it's, I believe, linked to. It should get in there. And then on seconddynasty.com, we kind of have categorized things so you can find them a little easier. It is kind of like a lazy website, though. So the best place if you've got questions is to come to the Discord. We do also have, some Facebook groups as well. So there's a ton of different channels. Instagram, you can get us on as well. But if you go to seconddynasty.com, there is a page there for all our social links if you are looking for the one that fits you. The support channel is very good. A very good place for help. Well, there you go. High marks there for Zoromer. You do have a Patreon as well. You can find the link to that in the actual Discord itself. So
we also provide, if you're interested in the printing bin stuff, we provide profiles for Cura and for the other thing.
Cura and Prusa Slicer is the one you're looking for.
Prusa Slicer.
I like John's comment. Here, you have a link, and you get a link. Everyone gets a link. All right, we're going for real this time. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.